Well, thanks, everyone. I'm Terry Radulski. I'm Partner Development Manager for Spectrum on the enterprise side. I also have in the room with me Nicholas Claude, who is the Channel Manager on the SMB side, and Greg Eckley, who is the Channel Manager on the fiber side. Most of you guys are familiar with our network. So our footprint consists of about 225,000 fiber lit buildings and 250,000 fiber route miles. We have about 100,000 employees. Some of our solutions for the industry that we have sold are healthcare industries, banks, with our Ethernet products, our fiber with our coax, multi-locations. Greg sold quite a few down here in the Florida market, multi-location Ethernet opportunities. Our network and support, we do have an SLA that is backed up by our fiber product with 4 nines across the board. I'm going to hand it over to Nick, and he's going to go over the SMB portion of it on the coax side.
So on the coax side, the sexiest part of our business, we have no contracts, unlike Comcast, who still has contracts. We have no contracts, we just need a verbal commitment from your customers, and we will install. I like the fact that we have no hidden costs. When we tell somebody the price for a phone line is $29 or the price of the internet is $44, that's what will appear on your bill. You won't get any surprises. The free Wi-Fi is kind of deceiving. That's free hotspot Wi-Fi, right? That's just if you walk in the building and if you have a Spectrum account, you're able to log into that network. But it's not business Wi-Fi. We do go up to gig speeds, and we're working on going up to 10 gig next year, hopefully. And also symmetrical speeds. So that's what a lot of our small business customers are looking for, is the upload speed as well. So we're striving to do that as well. And then, of course, we also, on the SMB side, we specialize in just basic telephone lines and also TV. But the coax is a good staple for small businesses. Do I have any questions on coax? I know it's a pretty simple, straightforward product. Going once, going twice. All right, thank you. I'm going to pass it on to Greg on the enterprise side.
Thank you, Nick. I'll let her drive. So my name's Greg Eckley. I live in Tampa. As most of you may or may not know, our Spectrum footprint as far as the state of Florida is essentially that I-4 corridor. So you've got the Tampa market, St. Pete, Clearwater, all the way over to Daytona Beach. But you as a partner of TCG working with Spectrum, you can sell our services anywhere. We're in, I believe it's 30-something markets, 38 markets, somewhere around there in 41 states. So, if you have an opportunity, say it's in Hawaii, one of our TCG partners just sold a gig circuit out in Hawaii. I want to go on that install. I don't know about you guys, but, anywhere that you want to sell, we have great tools. Terry's going to talk about the tools a little bit for you and what we can offer. So what do we have up here right now? So what do we have to sell? Dedicated internet access, fiber internet access. What we call that is FIA. So if you're exchanging emails with me, I'll refer to it as FIA. That's our flagship product for fiber. If you have a customer that's going into a location, say a new location, what's nice about our service is you can bring in some temp service, bring in a coax service with Nick. They can get that up and running. Some days, 3-4 days, you can have that service up and running while they're pending an install for your fiber. Because our average fiber install, people always ask, when can I have it in? This is prior to the paperwork being sold. Across the board in the state of Florida, we're averaging 105 days. We've got some that go in 30, 40 days. We got some that might take 5 or 6 months, depending on construction, build out, those type of things. If you do a qualification with us and TCG and you see that, it is a lit building, just want to go ahead and let you know that we will cover up to 25 $100,000 of construction cost on most applications. If you have a multi-site location, we can always blend them together if you have 3 or 4 sites. And speaking of multi-locations, what we can really bring to the table, I think, is something that we miss out on sometimes, and one of the reasons I wanted to be here is Terry had mentioned the multi-location. So our Ethernet product, whether you want to tie 2 locations with a point-to-point, we put in what we call an EPL circuit. We can scale that from 10 up to,
We have 5 gig, 5 megs to start with and then up to.
yeah, 5, 10. If you want to take that up to 10 gig, we can do that. Just we got to look at capacity on it. So whether it's a point-to-point or if you have a customer that's got an MPLS network or they want to migrate off of that, their contract with their other carriers up, our Ethernet product could for layer 2 platform. We're more than happy to take a look. We're extremely aggressive on the pricing on that. One thing that I think I wanted to drive home with you guys, I know you're down in South Florida. In our footprint, I had mentioned so that I-4 corridor. If you have a customer that is, say, Fort Lauderdale, and they have another site that's in Orlando, Charlotte, somewhere in LA, and they want to tie those together, it doesn't all have to be in our footprint. You can utilize our Ethernet to go ahead and bring all of them together. As long as one location is in our footprint, we can service them all. We couldn't bring local dial tone down here, okay, but as far as data connectivity, whether it's just an FIA circuit or an Ethernet connection, we can do it. Whether it's like I said, point-to-point, mesh network, hub and spoke, all those fit in our wheelhouse. We offer managed routers, managed security, other voice services. Where are we at on this? If you want to go ahead, I probably have a couple other slides. By the way, don't worry, we only have 42 slides to go.
Yep, so on the Ethernet also, we have agreements with 120 different carriers for our type 2, so we can price it out nationwide, no matter where the location's at.
So Cloud Connect, if you want to have connectivity to AWS, Azure, that's a product that we have that's in our wheelhouse. Seems to be picking up speed as people are migrating that way and they want to go to the cloud, coming out of the traditional data centers. I've got a very large client of ours that have, I think, 24 locations that was in a data center down here. They migrated everything over, went, flawlessly. I was shocked, to have a migration because we actually converted all their footprint, right? They had all their locations on our Ethernet product, and we run that on our Time Warner platform. As I don't think we really got into that, but Time Warner, Bright House, and Charter, once they all became together, it's branded as Spectrum. So if I send you an email, you're going to see it from my Charter email address. So Cloud Connect, voice services. If you want to have a PRI, we can put a PRI or a SIP or even break out lines. There's some qualification for that. You break that on a device like a channel bank and deliver the service. One thing I can tell you, if you have a customer, an application-wise, that you say, I have them on coax today. They're not ready for fiber. They don't want to spend the money, but I do want to have a PRI. We can do that as well. What we do is we take that SMB account, is what we call it, a small medium business coax product. We can bring that in together and sell them a PRI. It becomes because it has an enterprise product, they become an enterprise customer. So that happens quite often. I have partners that, say it's not even your coax customer, but you're selling them a PRI or you want SIP, you can get credit for that. That might be a house account, might belong to direct, it might belong to another partner. You can sell those standalone products by itself. Just want to make sure you guys were aware of that.
And another caveat on the voice services for the PRI, we do have the ability off the equipment to peel off up to 4 lines in Legacy Bright House, and then 8 lines off of the equipment for just standalone fax lines to plug into it, and that's incorporated in the price with the PRI or the SIP.
Okay, just want to touch base on the ordering process. we've got some amazing tools. The partner link is a website Terry's going to go into in a little bit. But we have what we refer to as rate cards. The process, as Nick had alluded to for the coax, is pretty simple. You send TCG an email and you're just confirming that your customer wants, they qualify for a gig, right? You can sell them that, a gig by 35, I think it is. You can sell it that way. If you want to throw voice on it, it becomes an enterprise account. We can write it up and add that PRI to it. If you want to put on any HFD services, any, TV, things like that, we can incorporate that all in so they get one bill. Okay, so an opportunity. Just want to hit on this real fast. If you're looking at us in the footprint, and you have the tool, or TCG comes back and they tell you, hey, it's online. It's auto build or it's on net. These are things that tell you can go ahead and sell at that cookie cutter price right then. I want to tell you right now, rate card is just that. It's a rate card. If we're up against somebody, let me know. If you're telling me, hey, Greg, your standard 50 meg price is fine, but I know somebody else is going to bid on it. I'd love to bring it to your, to your side of the house, but that price isn't going to cut it. Send me a note. Send me a quick. Let's have a quick conversation. If I know that, great. I will not always just throw you my cheapest price. I think our rate card is very fair, but it's all about you guys getting commissions, right? So you want to get paid. We're competitive, but if you're telling me, hey, this is a competitive bid, you've got 2 other providers that we're bringing in there, best man wins, give me a heads up, because I have to go through some steps. I have to go out and I have to have a survey. A survey, essentially, that in the Spectrum world, pre-sales is a desktop survey. So we have construction looking at the plant maps, and they're going to determine the best route and what that cost is. They take that cost based off of that number, say, like I mentioned, you have a $25,000 spend, comes back at 12 grand, and you wanted 100 meg, and my standard rate for 100 meg on a 3 year is $8.99, right? You've told me, Greg, you better be competitive. You need to be at $7.99 to have a shot at it. I'm going to take those results. I send them up the ladder to finance. They take a look at it. They come back and they'll tell me what my options are. If I can hit that number, if not, how close can I be? I'll be as aggressive as you guys want me to be, but I'm just asking you to engage me, have a conversation. I've worked with many of you on opportunities. The more information that you share with me, the more aggressive I'm going to be for you. If you can tell me what, exactly what it's going to take, I'll shoot for it. Doesn't mean I'm always going to get it, but a lot of times I can come in under that. So just wanted to share that with you. Did you want to go over any of the sites from here?
I'll take over from here. So
Okay.
Partner link.
Thank you all very much.
Thanks. So some of the sales and resources that are available to you guys, each of the sub-agents in the room, we do have our Partner Link tool that has our service availability check on there. Our rate cards, our co-branding material, which is nice for you guys to use in the marketplace. So you can co-brand it with our Spectrum logo, and then also incorporate your logo onto our product flyers for marketing. So if you're looking for that information, you can always reach out to myself or to Greg, and we can go ahead and get that set up for you, and also Nick. There's product information, there's training material on there. So if you're ever wondering, what is Cloud Connect? We do have all of the training housed on our partner link that you can go on there and access it whenever you feel like it to just educate yourself and bring you up to speed. There's also the service availability tool, which I want you guys to get familiar with. If you're ever, out in the field and wondering, hey, does this location qualify for Spectrum services? And you can qualify that at the ease of your business. And if it's not us, it'll tell you, hey, it's Cox, it's Comcast, which territory it is. So it's not just always going to tell you if it's Spectrum, it tells you which provider it is. So if you're looking to get access to this, please feel free to reach out to us or reach out to the back-end office if you want something qualified. The TCG back-end office that supports you guys is phenomenal. I can't rant and rave enough about Bertie and David Brown and the team. They're there to help you guys with any escalations or any qualifications that you guys have. But please feel free to reach out to us at any time with any questions.
So currently we have 2 promos when it comes to fiber. All of our pricing for fiber per product, right? So if you have a fiber circuit, it's $250 standard rates. If it's a PRI, $250. Comes across the board as we do that. So if it's what we call auto build or on net, the promo right now is if they sign a 3-year, we're going to go ahead and waive it for them. So say their total MRC is, $1,500. We can save them $250. They don't have to pay any upfront cost. Great. That's easy. Well, there's a new promo that came out. It's called the cashback promo. This helps you really close the deal, right? So the way this works, put what I told you about that waving to the side. If they have a 3-year deal, for example, it's $1,000 MRC. They sign up with us as soon as they install, they can get 2 times the MRC back. So, essentially they're going to get a $2,000 check. What do they have to do? They got to pay that install. The math's simple. Do you pay $250 or up $500 because you have multiple products and you get $2,000 back? Yeah, it's a, if we're in a competitive situation as well, or that's the best deal for your customers typically. It's actually a check, and I'll tell you why they went that direction. What do you guys paid off of? Build, right? So Pam and I have worked together. We go way back in the industry. Anytime you had give the customer a free month, what did we always hear? You as a partner, well, you gave them a free month, that's great. They just gave them 3 free months. Well, I don't get paid on those 3 months. This way we get around it. They get a check back. We still pay you full commissions. There's no hit on you. All they have, I've got a flyer anytime I talk to somebody about a little, what has to happen is TCG notes it on the paperwork, right? They put it in Salesforce. They get the promo. We sell it. They're going to get within 30 days of signing that order, they just go to a website, they'll get the email, but we'll make sure they have it. That's just what we have to do. Just stay on it, just make sure they register. You as a partner, just do it for them. Register for them, make sure they get it, because as soon as the project is signed off, it hits billing, it's installed, they process the check. It's supposed to be there, soon by the next billing cycle. So they get an actual check back for, in that example of 1,000, they'll get 2,000 back. It also applies on 2-year. They can get a one-time back. So it's a pretty good deal. Typically, we're talking fiber, right? Yeah, it's really going to depend on that scenario. So most of our circuits, any of them that are newer, put in over the last couple of years, we put a gig port in. So it's a remote, might see a bump. Some of the older circuits that have been in, 3 or 4 years, they might not have that. We'll have to take a trip out, send a tech out, replace equipment. I just had one that they went from a 200 to 500. I thought they'd be okay. Well, we had to schedule something because they went out. That equipment failed. They said they needed to upgrade it. That might happen, 4 or 5% of the time. But typically, with anything you have now mid-contract, we can go ahead and just turn it right up. Usually a couple weeks. The paperwork takes longer than the actual engineering to upgrade that. So let you know if anybody does an upgrade. It's a 3-year they have a 3-year contract, and they're 2 years into it, and they want to go from a whatever speed, 100 to 200. We'll do that. It does not extend their contract. The only time that we're extending their contract is within the last 6-month window. So just food for thought.